Hi, welcome to In a Pickle Knitting, Vlogtober, Day 8. So today is October 8th, 2018, and today is a holiday for many people in the U.S., celebrating Columbus Day. Where I live, this is a teacher work day, so teachers work, but the kids are off of school. So that gives me a little bit of extra time today to do a vlog, and also I'm going to record my podcast because my daughter's off work, so I won't be having my grandson today. So that gives me a little extra time. This is a short little vlog about a children's literature book that's related to the season, and also I have a recipe I will be sharing with you today. So our book today is a National Geographic Kids production called, publication called Seed Sprout Pumpkin Pie, written by Jill Esbaum. And this is a nonfiction book, and it's told through photographs and some short amounts of text. And I particularly like it for the vibrant photography and the step-by-step of the life cycle, but that's not all the book talks about. It tells some fun facts. As you'll see here, people are actually out canoeing in pumpkins. Those are huge pumpkins there, and so that's kind of fun to for kids to see. And it also talks about things you can make with it, and pumpkin bread, pumpkin pie, pumpkin soup. And what else can you do with a pumpkin? You can make jack-o'-lanterns, but also you can make a scarecrow. And I'll show you a picture here of a scarecrow that we made one year. If I can find the picture, it's not a digital picture, so I have to find the photograph and then scan it in. So if I can find that photograph, I'll put our pumpkin man, I guess, that we made several years ago. So this is a fun book, and I think age-wise you can go from a very young child, because the photographs, you can just talk about the photographs and the text is short amounts, and I think all the way up to 3rd or 4th grade. This book is part of a series from National Geographic Kids, and Apples for Everyone is another title, and A Tree for All Seasons. So these are great books. So now let's go on with our recipe today. But there's two things. I mentioned yesterday and then forgot to talk about the Monarchs. I am going to do that at the end. And also, I changed location yesterday. I was just having, I'd wanted to just set the tripod up and leave a space where I was going to do the vlogs and do them all from the same space. But I was having a lot of trouble with the lighting there. I can't record at the same time every day. And so the lighting was so poor that yesterday I came in here, and I think this might end up working better. The lighting seemed a little bit better, so I probably stay here through the end of the Vlogtobers. So I want to talk about the location, Monarchs, at the end. Let's talk about our recipe. Today I'd like to share a recipe for pumpkin bread. Now, I didn't invent the recipe. This is actually a recipe that is on the back of, or was at one time on the back of, the can of Libby's Solid Pumpkin, and it was for pumpkin cranberry bread. I like nuts in my bread, and so I added that to it. And so let's talk about what you'll need. To begin, you'll need 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 tablespoon of pumpkin pie spice. Now, if you can't find pumpkin pie spice, I don't usually use pumpkin pie spice. I bought it and just used it for this because that's what it calls for. But you can make your own. And to make your own pumpkin pie spice, you need 3 tablespoons of ground cinnamon, 2 teaspoons of ground ginger, 2 teaspoons of ground nutmeg, which is optional. I do not put that when I make it because it's not part of my original pumpkin pie recipe. 1 1/2 teaspoons of ground allspice, which I also do not put because, again, it's not part of my recipe, and 1 1/2 teaspoons of ground cloves. And you mix that all up and then just measure out what you need. So if you put all the ingredients, you might get this pumpkin pie spice, but it'll be good flavors no matter what. If you don't like something that's in there, leave it out. So 1 tablespoon of that pumpkin pie spice, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 2 eggs. These are large eggs. 2 cups of granulated sugar, 15 ounces or 1 3/4 cups of solid pack pumpkin. Make sure you don't buy pumpkin pie mix. It's a totally different thing. 1/2 cup of vegetable oil, Lots of people don't like to cook with vegetable oils, but when you are using things like pumpkin, zucchini, carrots, you have a heavy mixture, the vegetable oils make a lighter product, so if you choose to substitute your fat, you're going to get a different result, which might be fine with you. 1 cup of dried cranberries, 1/2 cup of toasted walnuts, and these are chopped to whatever size you like, in your bread. So after gathering your ingredients, you're going to whisk together the flour, the spices, the baking powder, and the salt. After that, you'll combine your eggs with the sugar, the pumpkin, and the oil. So you'll combine those together until they're smooth and they blend together nicely. Then you're going to add that wet mixture to the flour mixture and stir until it's just moistened. You don't want to over stir because of course you're building up the gluten in the flour. And you also still have to fold in your cranberries and nuts. So do that next, fold in the cranberries and nuts. Spoon the batter into, the recipe calls for putting it into 2 floured 9x5 pans. I usually use 8x5 pans because I like it to be a little taller. You're going to bake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 55 to 60 minutes. I don't usually do it in 2 large loaves because I usually make this to share. So I make 4 small loaves and 12 muffins. And I use my scoop, my ice cream scoop, to do the muffins, and then I put 2.5 scoops into each of the small loaves. Baking at 350 degrees, the muffins take about 25 minutes and the 4 small loaves about 30 minutes. So I put them all in together and just leave the loaves for another 5 minutes. Be sure to test with a toothpick coming out clean. When you're ready to take them out, let them cool on a cooling rack, and then they're ready to gift or eat. So that's our craft or recipe for today. So this is the end, other than I did want to talk about the Monarchs. When I was teaching, a group of teachers and I went to a training from the Monarch Teacher Network, and they trained us to tag monarch butterflies. Now, I knew about tagging, but I was afraid to do it. It's a little scary, but they actually taught us to do it in class, and then feeling more confident then, we started ordering the tags every year and tagged all of our released monarchs. And this was very good for our students because species monitoring is what you're doing there, and that was actually one of our curriculum objectives. So it was a way of making it real. To get tags, you order them from monarchwatch.org. Now, the problem with ordering is they only send them out at a certain time of the year, and you need to remember to order in advance of that so that when they're ready to mail out, they get to you. So this year, I did have the monarchs come through earlier. Those are not ones that you would tag. They're going north. And the tags were not even available at that time, but I thought, well, if I have them now, I'll have them again when they start to migrate south, and so I will tag those butterflies. Well, I didn't get any. My milkweed was there, but no butterflies came through and laid eggs at that time. And that's happened a couple of years where I haven't had any. I've had huge numbers, and I've had manageable numbers, and then sometimes none. So this year I didn't get any, but I had ordered my tags. So I have these tags, and I'll show them to you. I'm also going to show you they come in a little glassine envelope, and this is what they look like. I don't know if that'll focus. Probably not. I can't even read it, but it has a number on there. And you put this in a certain place on the butterfly's wing. And the purpose is that when these butterflies migrate to Mexico, to the fir forest down there, if any of them are ever found, any place, if you ever find a monarch with a tag on it, there's a phone number to call, and they just want to know, where did you find it? And then they can trace it back to where was it released from. It's helping scientists do research on their migration. Because those forests in Mexico are in danger, and this is the only place the monarchs go to survive the winter, Monarch Watch will pay every local person who finds one on the grounds so much money for indicating giving them the information about that tag number. And that is to encourage them not to cut the trees, because there's a remuneration, and there are other efforts being made to keep those forests intact. But the people there need the wood sometimes, so it's kind of a struggle. Anyway, you get with the tags, you get a little information about where to tag, and then there is a record keeping. So you'll indicate the number, the date that you tagged them, if it was a male or a female, if it had been, if you had reared it, technically I think it's supposed to be raised, if you had raised it from an egg, your plants, or was it a wild caught one, and then where did you release it? So that's helping them keep track. Well, we were sitting outside the other day, and my husband said, hey, there's a monarch on your butterfly bush. And I thought, oh, if I could catch it, I could tag it, because I've got the tags, and I would have loved to have tagged it and then had something to send in. But I couldn't catch it, and my butterfly net is in an unknown location right now. So that was what I wanted to share about the monarchs, and then I, of course, forgot. I knew I would, but that's my nature. So thanks so much for tuning in today, and I hope you can come back again tomorrow, where there will be another children's book and another craft. Bye-bye for now.